of sick. It does.
It's not good. As right from the get-go, I don't think Sylvie's Ivern was that great, but Ivern is really annoying.
It is.
So I understand it from that perspective, as the Sejuani actually going to be banned here. Really interesting. So, yeah, I was about to say, I don't think Leaper has been one of the standout Ezreal players, but it still is an insanely strong pick.
And he's been picking it a lot, right, as well. It feels like one of the better champions for Leaper specifically, even if he hasn't necessarily been winning. And one last ban here for the Guangdong Freaks. And then Renekton is probably going to be banned here by Nongshim Red Force. So Rumble and Ezreal should probably always be banned on red side. And let's hope that somewhere KT are taking notes, as Lee Sin is going to be taken away as well.
That's a really interesting ban. That must be a scrim thing, because I think Sylvie has been...
No.
Is it the Narc top
It's
counter?
first pick Shyvana prevention.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
It's probably a Nidalee from Cuz. He had a phenomenal game on this last time out, and they are going to lock that one away. So I'm actually kind of okay with it. I actually think that Cuz has kind of passed the Nidalee test.
Oh yeah, for sure. Really has. Bulldog also, to me, the only mid-AD carry that he really shines on is specifically Tristana. I think the other ones he's fine, but he's not a standout. Like him a lot more on his usual mage picks, but those are just not that strong right now. So Renekton and I think Zeri make a lot of sense. You can save your jungler for third rotation here.
Or Lilia.
Wouldn't mind it that much. Lilia, Renekton actually is quite strong. Zyra is, I think, most likely based on also what we've seen here before from Nongshim. The downside of Zyra picking it really early is I do think that there's a lot of compositions in which it struggles. We've seen that already from, I want to say it was DK that had, that was loose. They were like playing no engage Zyra into a poke comp, and it was just not great. It was a little sad.
Yeah, that was a bad
Guangdong series where they just kind of got, and that was Cuz on the other side on that Nidalee.
Well, let's see what they augment this Nidalee pick with. You were talking about Tristana. We're having a look at Bulldog right now. And that Tristana is going to be considered, probably locked in as well. I don't see why you wouldn't do it. Going to take some time, though, before they do lock that one away. And now, what are we going to do to round out this first round of picks? I just feel like it's going to be Cassante. Ooh, Draven's fun.
We're not blinding. Because I know that Zeri has been picked, but it could very well be a pick for Fisher as well. Don't forget, it doubles as a counter pick, or as a flex pick, rather. We saw Bullock himself also play the Zeri. It's going to be the Ashe, though, which I think is the safest bet. Very, very solid, very, very safe. Now, what is going to be the round? I personally would love a jungler here. I think that there are more mid laners that you can flex in now that Tristana has been taken down by a pretty considerable amount. Then again, Sylvie, I think, has been pretty adept at flexing his champion pool. We're not going to love this.
Are we going to pick Shyvana into Nidalee? No, we're not. We're going to pick a Vi instead. That does give Fisher a whole bunch of casters that he can play, as they will need some magic damage in this composition. It doesn't make me super excited. I imagine that the things like Talia will probably be banned away now. Talia Renekton, even that duo, even though there'll be solo laners in this draft, would be powerful, so they do just ban that one away. And so picking this Vi on 3 just feels a bit awkward to me.
I agree, but I think that the problem is there's not a lot of matchups that do well into Nidalee. I don't think that Vi does particularly well, but she's fine enough. That do well into Nidalee, and you expect to make it the second rotation. Like, Vi was 100% going to be banned. And I do think Nongshim are maybe looking to put Vital on an Enchanter. If you have the Zeri already, you can go for a Lulu, play a little bit more towards the lane, especially because a Braum is relatively likely. So having a little bit of flexibility there is good. I actually love these two bans. You already mentioned the Talia. I think the Ahri is also a no-brainer. LeBlanc is still available, but you can't really blind that. So you're either going to blind for Fisher here, or as we zoom in on Vital, it's going to be a support pick. This is obviously going to be something that there is a counter pick potential for Andil, who has been very happy to go for these. I think the Rakan makes a lot of sense. You already have decent enough front line between the Vi and the Renekton. It's not that tanky, but it's good enough. And then I love Rakan follow-up when it comes to Vi engages. I think that you can use the Vi as a really easy tool win and then follow up. And there are a couple of great targets on the enemy team. So at least you pass the we need enough hard engage into poke test with this Rakan right from the get-go.
And you don't need to lock away too many other things. But that is Poppy being considered. That will be locked in. Dudu could play it, of course. It has been one of our Poppy top enjoyers, but Andil could also be piloting this one if he would like and keep the Poppy in lane with the Rakan. Feels very, very good to have this champion. And now Andil, considering what he wants to do, and it looks like it is going to be Dudu on that Poppy top this time around. It's a decent matchup into the Renekton as well.
Yeah. Really solid. Makes it a lot harder for Renekton to get either the aggressive slice and then trade and then dice. That combo doesn't really work nearly as well. On the, well, we do need some AP damage, so we'll not get too carried away here.
What are you talking about? When you press last breath, you get rid of their armor.
Very good point. Yeah.
So you don't need it.
So the rel is interesting to me. I really thought that it was gonna be the Nautilus coming in because it's a lot more guaranteed engage onto the
Zeri, yeah.
Zeri. Doesn't end up being the case, and I think Nongshim, this is fine. This doesn't really make anyone excited. I do think that now that the changes to Tristan have come through, this matchup is a lot more playable for the Azir, so Fisher should just be fine. You don't have kill threat, but I think previously you just got bullied out of lane very early on, and you're always playing on the back foot. Nerfs definitely should make that better. I think both of these drafts, they're fine. I think we've seen a lot more cohesion in drafts recently. I think BNK are a really good example, who are looking like one of our current favorites to make it into playoffs, where every time you see the draft, you come out and you're like, man, I feel like this draft does this one thing really well, and a team can play around that. Even last game from Breon, we saw an early game draft with a strong mid-jungle 2v2, and that worked out amazingly. I think both these drafts are fine, pretty well-rounded, so it's going to come down to the execution.
Yep, I think Quandong Freak certainly came in with a lot more answers. I do really like Poppy in this situation, especially for both nullifying the lane and just being a good pick into Rakan in general. She's going to be extraordinarily tanky, and they can, just put their big 80 carries behind the Poppy and the Rel. So they've got frontline even in this Nidalee composition, which can be difficult to fit in. I do think that as far as a Nidalee draft is concerned, this one feels pretty good. But like you were saying, this one kind of just does what it says on the tin. Just some Shuriman flavor in the solo lanes. You got to vie for some pretty consistent engage. Let's jump into the Rift for game number 1. Man, Nongshim fans, exceptionally loud here in Lowell Park today. Of course, Quandong Freak fans always loud, but sometimes the turnout is kind of off. But this is a Nongshim that are holding on to playoffs for now. See whether they can keep doing so as we get into game number 1.
Something that's interesting that I'm going to take a look at here today is, as we take a look, Vital does get the sidestep.
Ooh, mechanics check done. Passed.
Doesn't get hit by the, as a
Jiwoo.
Oh, that's Guardian.
Oh, we're going to need Guga to come in. Vital 80 carry once again. Zeri was one of his best champions. You saw the swap was late. He was like, but I could.
Maybe.
And then Jiwoo's like, but I'm not a support.
That would end very badly.
It would have just not been good.
What I want to mention is that some Nidalees, I read this, I was on Reddit yesterday, read about this, have been going for back to Blackfire Torch, which is an item obviously we haven't seen in quite a while. It's mostly just been Leandry's focused. And then you go for Trap Max second, and the double burn actually makes it really big. Dude might be in some trouble here.
Yeah, the Grand Entrance does come on through, as Vital is just going to look to push him away. Sylvie is not going to invest in anything into trying to kill the Poppy, and will instead just take down the blue buff. Make sure that this jungle is not going to be put behind. So lane swap in effect here for Nongshim.
So I don't dislike it. I do think that the top side matchup, it doesn't really get better. I think that it's just very much a nullifying matchup, and that's going to remain the case as you get deeper into the game as well. But the big benefit of this is I do think that Ashe's level 1 is one of the strongest parts of the champion. We talked about this a lot. And Zeri Rakan, the less time you spend in lane, the better. I think this is an extremally strong combo. It used to be one of our highest win rate duo lanes for a really long time, but it's because of what it does out of lane. The laning phase itself, outside of the odd all-in post 6, isn't necessarily anything that you're going to pick it for. So, going to see here, a setup, as we do know. Dudu knows that this ward is here. Again, in these lane swap scenarios, the main goal is just to get experience. That's all you really care about. So as soon as they see two people here, I wouldn't be surprised if Meow just immediately TPs.
Dudu might just die though. The Ignite's ticking, he's still going to flash, and he's going to die. It's a 1-for-1 trade though in the end. Both of the supports picking up kills, but now Bulldog, he's making his way in. The immediate teleport back from Dudu as Andal. That crashdown was actually fantastic, and Mihail, he's going to just explode. Goomba stomped by Bulldog, and now he can head back to the mid lane. Jiwoo will survive, still had to use Cleanse, and Kwangdong Freaks turn it around.
Really good roam there from Bulldog, but it is a pretty costly roam from him. So we'll see what the actual results of this are going to be when everything shakes out. Key thing for me is that Nongshim isn't actually investing TPs to catch the bot wave. Most of the bot wave was already gone. They crash into the turret. So they're going to be really far behind in experience. Now, couldn't really TP to top either. As we take another look at this, and here the key thing is that roam from Bulldog. Dudu, I think, still makes a big mistake. I don't think he necessarily needed to go in that early. Could have waited a little bit. But then here, if Meow's level 2, like this is probably somewhat playable. But he's not. Bulldog is obviously solo laner, so already level 3 comes in, and there's not a whole lot to be done. And then Bulldog can just base and immediately TP back to mid. So as we can see, Fisher wasn't even able to get a lead out of that at all, which that's kind of insane. I actually did expect him to at least be even, but actually behind. Obviously this wave is going to come into him, and I imagine that will equalize it, but this is a pretty colossal winner for Kwangdong right from the get-go. Let's not forget, it was Nongshim that initiated the lane swap.
Yeah.
I didn't really see it. You're always supposed to fall behind a little bit in terms of lane swap when it comes to gold because of the protection, right? And even more so after the nerf to lane swap a couple of patches ago. So them going down in plates, them being behind like 300-400 gold, I don't think is the end of the world, but definitely didn't really pan out the way that they were hoping for.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be an 800 gold
yeah.
right? It's supposed to be like 400 at the worst, generally. That's what happens when you switch back at level 3. Jiwoo is going to sidestep the Shattering Strike. I think they're pretty aware of the ward that's in this brush now. As Leaper and Andal looking to scuffle. You can see it's about a wave ahead for Leaper there as Fisher, after this explosive charge goes off, he is going to be equal as far as that trade was concerned. And now Jiwoo's in trouble, not able to skate over the wall. They put that one on cooldown. And Battle Dance does come through from Vital, but still Flash now down for the Zeri. This bottom lane from Kwangdong looking real strong right now.
Big thing here as well is that Amdil is
walks up
4.
and ignites him.
Yep, just hits him with the dubstep ignite.
Love
walks
that.
in, and unfortunately for Jiwoo, he gets engaged on, as we do see the win rate. I do want to say, you know, some of these are also teams that you would expect to win a lot, but the fact that Sponge, for example, also got a win on it. I think that was the 0-3 Nidalee that just got some stuff. It was very funny. And by stuff, I mean dragons.
Yeah.
But do note, like, Vital is a level down. Jiwoo is a level down. Top lane, I think, should still be favored to Dudu, but at least in terms of experience, it's already going to be. And then you look at the CS, and
yeah,
they're looking kind of rough here in the early laning phase for Nongshim Atlas, and this is a pretty snowbally draft here from Kwangdong.
Yeah, it feels like Kwangdong have just done the fundamentals a whole bunch better in this game. I think that Nongshim is not quite able to tick all the boxes, as it were. There's going to be a grub going over to Cuz. He'll be able to at least collect one of them here. That is going to be taken down. There we go. That is one grub. 3 picked up for Nongshim. So only 4 grubs to be going down right now, which is a little bit weird. That's all right. Bulldog in some trouble, but so is Mihail, who does get a stun off. There is a flash, but I think he's still dead. Steadfast Presence comes down. Mihail! Oh, he keeps himself alive, but there's the auto attack, and Cuz is able to lock it up in the end. Emperor's Divide did come through. Andal is dead in the mid lane, but I think the Kwangdong Freaks probably still kind of psyched about how the state of the game is resting.
Yeah, it's a really big kill. You're going over to Cuz is huge. As a solo AP source, you really want to make sure that he gets as much as possible. If Meow had a Q there, he would have lived for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't have the cooldown, I assume. As try to look for a shuffle there. Nice ult by Bulldog, as Vital was level 3 still, by the way. So, I wonder what happened there towards topside, because what happened is they knew Cuz was there. So, and I saw Meow disengaging, so maybe it was a Dudu just finding an ultimate and then knocking him back or knocking him into the wall. Hope we get to see a replay of that, because that shouldn't have been a kill, and that could have been a trade-up for Nongshim, a really big one, by them getting the play onto Andil. But instead, Meow ends up going down, as we do take another look here, and yeah, that's just... Wave was already pushing into you. You knew that the Nidalee was there, so I think really big mistake. I wonder if it was a miscommunication maybe with the jungle, but that's definitely a very costly error, as yeah, Sylvie ends up being just a nick of time here, and even with the arrow hitting, ends up being bait.
Yep. Emperor's Divide just used to make sure that the extra damage goes down and they guarantee the kill. Not too bad there for Nongshim, who still stay within touching distance when it comes to the gold and especially the kills here. Only 3-2 right now, so not the end of the world. And this game is starting to get messy.
Oh yeah.
I feel like compositions with Vi and with Azir and things like this, if it's messy, feels a little bit all right. The problem is that they have a handbag in the top lane instead of a Renekton. And handbags are not as dangerous as crocodiles, in my opinion, unless there's a brick in there, you know.
No, I'm unfortunately for Mahal, I think his job is going to be stand around Geo if they're engaging, and otherwise go in and absorb cooldowns, and then hope that...
I'm helping.
Yeah, that you're helping, and that either Geo or Fisher can do stuff.
Well, right now it's going to be difficult for them to do stuff. Spear goes wide as Cuz just makes his presence known. That is going to keep up the pressure in this bottom lane, and I think Vital's going to be able to do anything. Jiwoo really wants this experience in this wave. They have been missing so much, and is at least not punished for that. Cuz just electing to go back home, as Blastcone will get Andal back down towards that bottom side. So, as it settles, it is going to be about a 1,200 gold advantage as we head towards the mid-game now for Kwangdong Freaks. But that dragon that they were able to take, certainly good news. Picking up a single Hextech is still very powerful. It's an Ocean Drake coming up next, so Chemtech would be probably the worst sole option, but outside of that, there are only really good ones. And even Chemtech, when you've got Primal Surge, fun stuff like that, Bloodthirst is being built, you know, maybe you're not too upset about it. But it still would be nicer if it was one of the others, especially for Valdez, who's currently in the space and doesn't want those mega cones, the pesky mega cones for the ultra disengages. Not as fun. I want Speedy Go Rift. That's what I want.
Mario Kart Rift.
Hell yeah.
Drift Rift.
Exactly. Oh. Drift Rift, man. That's beautiful.
We've never called it.
Haven't done Drift Rift yet. Yeah, and
that's it, right?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's absolutely beautiful.
No one says Infernal anymore.
What, it's just Cindy Rift?
Oh, it's Drift Rift.
Oh, no. Isn't... Oh, right, yeah, because of the cinders. But isn't... What about Cloud Rift? Because you're also drifting around that, too. Yeah.
I think it has to be Cloud.
But also, now that we've seen the Cinder Drift, that... was it...
Oh, we do it in honor of Viper?
Yeah, in honor of Viper, because he drifted around.
Let's
so I think you're right. It has to be Infernal.
Drift Rift.
Yeah, and then what's the Cloud Rift called then? We need to figure that one out. It needs to be it needs to be as cool.
Well, I can't do that. It has to be you. You're the Cloud Rift guy.
Swift Rift? Oh my god.
Back to back!
And it works!
Back to back!
Okay, we got the Swift Rift and we got the Drift Rift. We nailed it. I didn't expect to pass that test, but I feel like I did.
I think
we don't have anyone to adjudicate, but
so we can go home now, right? Like,
yeah, no, we can. Our job here is
done for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, we can call it a day. G-Sun gave us confirmation. So thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be back for another team fight in about 5 seconds' time. As Andal looking to try and get into position, but there is cease and desist. Maybe he's gone too far. He has immediately been taken down as now Leaper in a bit of trouble. Cuz somehow takes the dragon. Not sure about that one. As now Leaper creating some space. Fisher in trouble as well. He's going down low. Sylvie just getting kited. Can't really do anything, and Leaper happily following after. It looked really bad until it absolutely wasn't for Kwangdong Freaks.
And I think the key thing here is Rakan isn't 6. So Vital only has one set of cooldowns that he can throw, and then he isn't that useful in the rest of the fight. And they blow a lot. And I think killing Andil here is definitely a fruitful endeavor in of itself. Denying the... wait. I'm not sure how that happened, but I'm sure we'll get another replay of that. So they do get on there, but again, if Vital had 6 here, and he can help get on top of Leaper, right? He can do anything besides just be in the pit and go down. I think that could be the difference maker, but instead, because of the experience deficit, you have not enough CC, so you blow everything, all your cooldowns on one target, and then particularly in a longer trade like Ashe, Tristana, and Nidalee, they literally just auto you down, and the heal comes through. It's very hard to actually play out, as right now, it looks like it might be 3
I'm very confused because it was 3-1 earlier.
Yeah, no, that was an oopsie, because that was the first rotation, was 2 to Sylvie, 1 to...
Yeah.
No, I saw
2-1.
well.
I was like,
don't worry.
What time is it? My brain is really struggling to comprehend
Atlas.
this. Was there a fourth? It's Drift. Oh my god.
Drift. Immediately got it.
Wait, does that mean that we... Oh. So we could get Drift and Swift Rift on the same...
Yes.
In the same series.
On the day we named them.
Oh, that would be gorgeous. Well, Orcs, you heard what you have to do. Just eliminate any Chemtech Souls from the next series, next game's rotation, and we'll be laughing, I reckon. As all right, Mihail has done a great job pulling back in this lane. He's almost reached parity once again when he was struggling to really be within touching distance at all. So definitely good. Managed to get that solo flash from Dudu. Holds onto his own. And Nongshim. So they've at least sorted out some of the issues in the lane that's at the very top. They now need to address everywhere else.
Yeah, I think Nongshim, one of the biggest issues they've had consistently this split is that their laning just hasn't been up to par. And that means that you come into any single play with a deficit. I don't think their team fighting was as good as it was, say, in spring or last year. I definitely think they've taken a drop off across the board. But the laning consistently has been an issue for them, where right now, like, there hasn't been a turret take yet, right? And we're going to get that relatively soon, I do think, for Kwangdong. But already we're looking at a pretty sizable deficit in gold just from the CS. And in the jungle matchup, that's kind of warranted. But I think particularly in bot lane, that failed dive, or the failed swap rather, didn't really do what Nongshim were hoping for.
Well, Fisher is looking for it, and Leaper is just going to go down. Grand Entrance is fantastic with the Magnet Storm. It does come in, it's just not enough to save the 80 carry, and Nongshim even out the scoreline, only behind under 2,000 gold. As they're now looking at a Rift Herald, and without the Ashe, maybe it's possible, but the rest of Kwangdong Freaks are still very strong.
Oh, a lot invested as well there.
Yeah.
Ultimates from Nongshim, so we'll see if they actually want to commit to this. Kwangdong can also just trade inside.
Well, they also could just do both, maybe.
Huh.
As, okay, at least Bulldog is going to back away from the top outer turret. Kwangdong Freaks definitely going to be able to take Shelly. As Cuz will just pull it out of the pit and take her down. So that is going to be some more drifting on the Drift Rift, but it's Shelly this time around. Everyone can drift when you're on the Drift Rift. As, yeah, Leaper unfortunately just standing within shuffle range. And
not a whole lot to say about this play. So I imagine the call was to try and set up a bait where he is the tasty piece of bait, and then Andil and Cuz swoop in from the sides. Once Fisher goes in, unfortunately it was a 3 against 3, and Leaper didn't have flash. So the bait was successful, but he also got eaten.
And now 2 turrets just fall down in quick succession as well. And so Kwangdong Freaks went from being in a decent spot to being in a really good spot. It is over a 3,000 gold gap for the Kwangdong Freaks now, and they have one of these compositions that can find engages and picks all over the place. They can poke very well, and they have great late game insurance as far as consistent DPS is concerned. I feel like also taking down Baron when that is on the table is going to be something that they'll be pretty confident in as well. Their turn, phenomenal. And so Nongshim are slowly but surely running out of options.
Yeah, that really is kind of the hope Zeri carries as Bulldog.
Yeah, there's the Vault Breaker flash. They throw everything at the Tristana, and she is going to go down. Dudu teleported in, but he is not going to be able to save the Trist because she died in a blink of an eye and only CC'd from 100 to 0.
That's actually quite clean. Now the question is, have they invested too much? Again, 3 ultimates thrown into this, and Nongshim, you got to get the Dragon out of this. Just getting that kill was not enough.
And now Jiwoo needs to make it back to his team as well. Shelly comes in, manages to take down the outer turret in mid lane, and I think Kwangdong Freaks can still kind of be okay with this, but they do not want to be okay with it. There goes the jungler. Cuz is able to move in. The Keeper's Verdict is so powerful, man, as now Mihail, he throws down the ulti, but unfortunately Sylvie can't get back. The flash forward, but the immediate denial, the crash down was so good. Vitals destroyed. Bulldog had just teleported in after exiting the death chamber, and now he's just taking names. Spears are landing left, right, and center. And Cuz, I think, is going to go up to 7-0 on Nidalee.
And you can see there, Sylvie. Well, that's rough. The Vi getting hit by that ultimate from Dudu. That is the difference maker. That is what decides that fight. Because all of a sudden, Nongshim have to seat position, and we take another look. And Nongshim, it's such a clean play, right?
Yeah.
Q flash ends up getting it. I do think that that ultimate from Fisher was too much. Like, that's probably what you want at the very least have. And again, the Poppy value in this fight is absolutely nuts, right? First, you knock out the Vi, which means you get the Dragon. And I want you to take a look here. Dudu goes in. And there isn't really a possibility for Sylvie or Gio to join the fight. Then Vital ends up dying because he can't actually jump out. And that's the end of it. At that point, the fight's already won. The DPS all very, very healthy.
Yeah.
That's it. Kwangdong taking a commanding lead now. 5K, Soul Point on the Drift, and everything's looking splendid here for the team that, again, needs this win. Ideally in a 2-0 to close that gap with KT and BNK.
Or at least stay in the running, right? Keep yourself part of the conversation, because Kwangdong Freaks, they were right up there for being, you know, not even necessarily the bottom rung of the playoffs. It was, you know, talks about, is this a top 4 team? Then, of course, the Kwangdong collapse comes in, and you're like, do they even make playoffs? Still certainly within a chance, right? With BNK and KT being the other options. They can cleanly 2-0 here, though, especially with these drafts that do look very clean. Playing to their style as well, and Cuz playing this well at the same time. It's really good for Kwangdong Freaks.
It's also, again, beckons the question, why is Cuz on Kwangdong, and why was he picked up by a top 2? Which is a
while
question.
since we've been having this, this conversation.
It's yeah, you know, I think it's good to bring it back in the public mind every now and then, and remind ourselves that this was probably the best all-around jungler at the very least.
It was one of the easiest all-pro jungle votes that we've had in the LCK.
Leaper.
Yeah, Leaper is just going to kite some
I'm like,
okay,
so Sylvie was in the area, and we had some shenanigans happening here with the vision. I thought that there was something was going to happen, but Jonas Strong,
yeah, he likes to create some drama.
Me.
Yeah. He sensed that maybe, you know, you were talking about Cuz and why no one picked him up, and he was sad about that. And he thought that he'd maybe just create some artificial drama here that is not actually real, but it is still Soul Point. Like, it's going to be so hard for Nongshim to find any sort of angle in this game.
Yeah, it's tough, Atlas.
And I thought that maybe this was going to be turnaround time for Nongshim. I was really feeling it this week.
Yeah, you and I were both Nongshim predictors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this game 1, it's not looking good.
Yep, the arrow is going to connect onto Vital, and he is very dead. So as we say that, our fears are confirmed.
I think this game you kind of we probably wrote off already.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was not the one.
But it's a best of 3. They could always come back in the next one.
I like that optimism.
Yep, this is certainly looking very tough. Unless Kwangdong Freaks make a colossal mistake, which, you know, they have in the past made mistakes before, but even this, like, it's going to have to be like a really colossal mistake.
Oh, that's not happening this one, Atlas.
Yeah.
No, I'm very, very confident, and I know that you of all people could warn me about you shouldn't be too confident when there's a Nidalee involved, but let's be honest.
Yeah,
right now,
wouldn't be losing any hair over this one, I don't think. But I mean, that was 10,000 gold in 14 minutes, so who am I to judge?
Yeah, Vital, I think, tried to dodge to the left. Unfortunately, not enough. Maybe try and battle dance Sylvie post Q, but things are just not great. Maybe we're doing a desperation dive on a
Fnatic brush
on a Poppy.
That might be the way to do it. Just set up a brush.
That's also one of the things that I do want to give Kwangdong credit for. Obviously, you want to try and play towards your mid and bot lane, because I think particularly bot lane is pretty volatile. And if you pick a Poppy, like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't dive her, really. It's basically impossible. Are we going to set up a trap on Cuz? He's not really a guy you can kill.
Setting up a trap on Dudu.
Yeah.
Who just steadfastly presented to the lane.
They have Nash. So I guess they
Sylvie shows himself and will get heroically charged into this wall. There is the Drake being started by Nongshim. Dudu on a flank angle. I've seen this one before. He does the press R helicopter thing, and then someone says goodbye. Let's see whether Dudu can actually find the optimal target. Sylvie gonna need some swift footwork as the arrow, the spears aren't necessarily landing, but Andal, he's trying to opt in for this. Finds a Magnet Storm onto a couple as Cuz dives forward, goes golden there as well. And these red health bars are getting torn apart, but no, the turnaround from Fisher, he finds the shove. They take down Leaper at least, but I think these wallets are just that little too hefty. And Vital just has to watch as all of his carries get destroyed. A triple kill for Cuz. 7, 0, and 4 on the Nidalee. And they don't even need to worry about an Infernal Soul. They're thinking about drifting their way towards a game #1 win.
If that fight happened when they were like 3k gold up, that was a win. That was a win right there, Atlas. But instead, it's just enough. There's not enough stats. There's not enough gold. Want to call out a couple of things here. So obviously the turn onto Dudu is kind of doomed. I understand you want to try and do something here, but it just doesn't really end up working out. Gio has to cleanse immediately, and then Vital tries to go in. Beautiful buster shot from Bulldog, but then Vital still with the quickness flashes in, which sets up for the Fisher shuffle. But again, like, there's just not enough. There's not enough gold, there's not enough stats, so the health bars are low, and there are a lot of carries on the side of Guangdong.
Pouncing around.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole why is Cuz not picked up by a top 2? I already have my vote in. We knew.
Yeah.
Baron's taken. They got the Infernal Soul. They're drifting on the Rift. This we're looking at game 2, Atlas.
Yep.
That's what we're doing.
It's Cuz and Canyon. They're our Nidalee boys. They are definitely looking very, very good on this champ. And I think it's something that Nongshim are going to have to look into banning away in game #2. Of course, Red Side has seemed a little bit more difficult for a lot of our teams, unless you're Bro. In our previous series, because they win on both sides, they don't even care. 10,000 gold though, now the lead. There is the Infernal Soul picked up, and no inhibitors to go down just yet, and no Nexus to go down yet either. So you might have written off Nongshim, but guess what? They've still got a Nexus. They may not have Fisher though, because he's going to get stunned up. Cuz looking for the angle, finds the spear, and he's not there anymore. The stun doesn't last that long. Does have Sork Shoes, not a lot of tenacity, but still. Jiwoo now trying to rotate back. I think feeling like they're going to need all 5 if they're going to stand any sort of chance in any of these fights. But there is no Baron up and available now. And so getting a shove in is a little bit difficult into the Azir, especially, who does have a fair bit of wave cliff.
Oh, the Hail Mary.
All right,
Let's
here we go.
Mahile,
straight on top of a ward. And Quantum Freaks, their ability to kite back is also quite nice, given the fact that walking into Fog of War when there's Nidalee is something that's quite difficult. Leaper always has vision of you.
Atlas, sometimes your faith in the scrappy underdog, going for a Hail Mary play, ends up working out, and everything's amazing, and it's the climax to a cool sports movie, and everyone's crying in the theater.
But there always needs to be that dip in the middle, you know? That's how the stories work. You've got to create the tension. Otherwise, what's the point?
Accepting that this was not one of those type of movies, but it's the best of 3. There's still game 2.
Yeah, you never know whether
we can dream.
The Empire Strikes Back turns into Return of the Jedi. You know, as Sylvie almost just straight up dies to Bulldog, just right-clicking him a bunch of times. All right, Nongshim. There's not going to be much of an option. I hope that they're now just considering what they're going to do as we move towards the second game. Because Quantum Freaks, they are right now, I think, like, maybe playing with their food a little bit, but also they need to wait for a Baron before they're going to get a shove through.
Well, they can definitely end. They're up 13k gold.
Yeah.
But...
And they have Infernal Soul.
But...
Yes.
If they want to play it safe...
Yeah.
Is wait till Nash. It's 40 seconds.
You do have to be careful about the late game scaling potential of a Renekton.
Yeah, or Zeri with 2 items.
Oh, maybe that was a better example.
As we take a look at the itemization here, who do you target on Guangdong? Because always in these situations, it's always try and get a Hail Mary engage. Dudu is Elixir of Ironed Up, level 16, and unbothered.
That is the biggest yodel ever.
Oh, Atlas.
Yeah.
So how was your day?
It's been really good. I mean, somewhat surprising But also not surprising, you know, with the bro victory.
Yeah.
It really does lift the spirits. And now the arrow is going to connect onto Sylvie. His spirits are going to be drifting away as he is placed into the death chamber quite gently here by the Kwangdong Freaks, who are looking to just slowly but surely move us towards a game number 2 in pretty clinical fashion. 15,000 gold the lead. And Andal just wandering over to make sure that Bulldog is just okay. And Nongshim with only 2 more turrets left remaining very, very soon. The one's on their Nexus, and a flash forward from Andal. That spear was gorgeous from Cuz as well. And that's a great target to be selecting. Oh, the double knock-up with the Keeper's Verdict. And the Buster Shot will be able to find that kill onto Fisher there as well. And now Kwangdong Freaks, only Mihail and Jiwoo to look out for, and Sylvie, I guess, who's making his way up the fountain now. That is going to be the kill onto Cuz, so they at least do get rid of the legendary Nidalee. But that's not going to save the game. They just need to put a few autos into this Nexus. And that is the best 50 gold that you can get in this game. And Kwangdong Freaks, not sure whether they're officially back, but this is a great step in that direction.
Very solid game number 1 here from the Kwangdong Freaks. After a tumultuous couple of weeks, this is what they need. And if they can get a 2-0 like this, that will be exactly what the Doctor, the setup that they need, as next week they face off against KT, against BNK. That is realistically going to decide their playoff chances.
Oh, which one of those is going to be the Saturday showdown as well?
It's going to be BNK Kwangdong.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, nice.
And
I think I kind of like that one. I think the KT one, you don't want to really celebrate the coin flip that much. I think BNK Kwangdong, that is going to be a very, very important one.
Right now, in this game number 1, do you think that Kwangdong were just better on all fronts? They dealt with the lane swap well.
Yeah.
And again, I hope on blue side that Nongshim get lanes that they feel a little bit better in, because I feel like it's also, as a coach, it's so hard. You look at this and you're like, guys, every single lane, we were like 10, 20, 30 CS behind. Experience was kind of a nightmare. And then we took a couple of bad fights, and then the game is just done. From that point on, it's not a whole lot you can do.
It's just so hard to get back into the game as well when you're looking for more mid to late game fights with the Zeri and the Azir, and if they fall behind, it just feels like they have nothing that they can really do. Azir maybe a little bit more with the shuffle, but we saw it not necessarily get too much, as Cuz almost does 4 times that of his opposition. Massive damage on this Nidalee. I think it just needs to be banned. I think Nongshim need to try and get rid of it. There are a few things that I think that they could sacrifice as far as bans were concerned, and that would be the first thing to look at. But now, it's time for us to go to a short break. When we get back, the Space is going to break that one down. We'll have game number 2. We'll see where the Nongshim bounce back.
여기. 아디로 높여. 아디로 올게. 나왔어?
끝낼 생각할래 이거.
끝내자.
보자. 미드. 내가 밀어줄게. 나 가엔이라.
니 깜짝하게 제리 밀게. 나 제리 봐줘. 제리 높여. 제리 높여. 제리 이뻐. 맞아. 나 좀 봐줘. 형 혼자야.
야 타워줄게. 끝낼까.
제리 높여.
끝내가 보자. 나궁 2초. 빨리 와도 돼.
끝내자.
GG 나이스.
As well,
I
quite
think
easily.
we have more Atlas. I think we're going into dissertation territory.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, we've got an Ivern. That one's going to be banned away, as well as a Rumble. So Ivern, Sejuani, and Lee Sin were the previous bans on the blue side. Rumble, Ezreal, and Maokai were the bans on the red side. Nongshim picking red.
It's got to be Nidalee. It's got... Just ban it. Just ban it.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Well, there's the Lee Sin, so we're not changing up our plan on that side.
Please.
Your move, Nongshim. There's Nidalee.
There we go.
All right, now the Sejuani to be unleashed, as now there's no Nidalee to counter it, no Ivern to counter it.
But it's...
Unshackled Shyvana Nation.
Atlas?
Okay,
No.
it'll be Lucian instead, it's fine.
We're not blinding Lucian.
Why
We're
not?
blinding Lucian?
Yeah, well, you could also pick Tristana that was really good for Bulldog in the last game.
Bulldog is the one player, you know, the hipster guy that's like, I played it before it was cool.
Yeah.
I watched this band before. That's
He is definitely that guy.
For Tristana, that was him. He was always him. I also think Fisher, good enough job, but wasn't really about him in the last game. As now, what is Sylvie gonna play? The jungle matchup was the biggest issue in the last one. I gotta say as well, I think Sylvie, he's just not really a Vi guy. You know, I think we have some very obvious Vi guys. We have Raptor, we have Lucid, I think is currently #1. Obviously Peanut, incredible at it as well. I think this feels a lot better. You have a lot more agency when it comes to where you go around the map because you have so much more free time because your clear speed is kind of insane. And it pairs well with Renekton without feeling like it's too obvious as to what you can do to completely run it out of the game.
I just don't know why you wouldn't pick Ashe away. So I feel like Ashe was pretty good for Lipa. I think Ashe Tristana is a really strong backline. And Maokai is then going to be picked up, so we're not going to see the Shyvana this time.
So personally, I would have just gone Ashe Maokai on 1-2.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're getting, Atlas. So we're just accepting our fate. What is Dudu going to pick here? Do you think that the Poppy is definitely going to get taken away? It would be such a flex, though, to just lock in something else here.
Yeah.
It does look like that is going to be the angle. So this is Dudu saying, I am taking a beating, everyone. I'm not going to have a good time. This time around, there is a lot more flexibility for what Fisher can play because they do have a great AP source from the jungle.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Particularly after the, again, early game nerfs to Tristana. Getting an aggressive matchup. It's probably just going to be Corki.
Aurelia is so much more fun, Fisher. Aurelia is so much... Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, we're not allowed to have fun, Atlas.
That's so sad.
Look at that. He's 52% win rate. That's positive.
That is.
That's good. That's Corki.
I much prefer mystery win rate, which would be
Well, you
Aurelia.
know I want mystery win rate as well, Atlas.
But actually, do you know what I really want? I want a Swift Rift. That's all I want. We can get that no matter how this draft goes, as Jhin is going to be banned. This is why I love Nongshim. Banning away Jhin. It's beautiful. It's perfect.
Just making sure it doesn't grace your screen.
Exactly. And you can see CVMax is being very, very vocal.
What is this bot lane going to be?
I want it to not be a Zeri lane. I want it to be something with a bit of pressure.
Kalista still open. That would be one of my first go-tos. Love the Ziggs ban. Definitely a really good call. So if you ban the Ziggs, you can go for... Oh, yeah. The Ashe ban makes sense from a we don't want you to play Ashe perspective. I feel like Kalista goes really crazy here.
I think it's a pretty good one. Gee, we could just lock that one away, leave counter pick for Vital.
Yeah, like Ashe is gone. Ziggs is gone. There is a decent amount of point-and-click CC as God. You know what? If they lock Leona here, I think it might be like a Vital Nila angle. I think that's the depth to which we have gone. Or like a Smolder, I don't know. But if they're counterpicking here for Jiwoo, I hope that they actually use it. If this ends up being a Xayah, we will be very upset.
Well, this
could be.
This could be a Kalista angle for Lipa, or he could just go for the Zeri himself. I think blind Zeri is actually very dangerous. Kog'Maw sounds way better. Heck yeah, let's do that.
Kog'Braum.
Kog'Braum, baby. Yeah, I think, like, look, I wasn't a believer, and then I saw it in, like, the third time that they played it. It was pretty good. As Zeri is going to be locked in, Andal is considering a Rakan, and that's going to be locked away as well. Not a huge fan of Rakan in this draft, especially with the amount of spaces you have to avoid. But that's fine.
Kalista, Kai'Sa,
the Smolder?
Nila were my my initial guesses. I think Smolder is just not good enough at the moment. There is one man that's allowed to play this champion.
Yeah.
One singular man. I think it's going to be Kai'Sa, though. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. I love that Vital is also the one that hovers it.
Yeah.
Just to kind of give us the hint. Obviously knows very well about his teammates' tendencies. Instead, it's just going to be the Kai'Sa. I think Kai'Sa works wonders in this type of composition. I think Kai'Sa is good into Zeri, so it makes sense. But we both know what we wanted, Atlas.
Yeah, we did. We really wanted the Nila, but that's okay. Sometimes you can't have it all. And honestly, Def did make the Nila look not very strong.
Okay, but I think that's a skill
we saw
issue.
it played today.
I trust you.
This season, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do too. But I mean, it's just tough to, you know, pick up the champion that did just kind of run it down the last time it was seen. And Quantum Freaks, I don't think that this is necessarily as much of a run-over draft. I felt like the Poppy was a bit of a checkmate in game number 1. This time around, less of that checkmate aspect, more of just they have a more consistent draft. From the outset, I think as soon as you have Maokai, it feels like things are just a lot cleaner. But that means that there's less carry potential from Cuz. And so that might be a big thing that Nongshim can play around moving into this game that might give them a little bit more of an edge. Perhaps. That's what I was sort of thinking.
We also had a cute little fan sign there. Just everyone rooting Atlas. I want a third game. I don't want this to be a quick 2-0, even though we got the Dusante that the fans were calling for. I think that might struggle into the Renekton. So Nongshim, maybe a bit more early game pressure here.
Yep, I'm hoping no lane swap either, because that went horribly wrong. Just play regular League of Legends and you'll be fine. Let's jump into the Rift for game 2. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the final game potentially of the week. And Fisher is in a spaceship today, opting in for a new skin, one that we haven't really seen in the LCK so far. So
it looks really good.
It looks really good. It also is really big.
It's not corgi, you know, it's hard to,
yeah.
You can't beat that.
No, you can't.
But it is really cute.
It's like whenever like Pugmore came out, everyone was just picking Pugmore because it was the only cute skin. I still am a fan of Monarch Kog'Maw because I like being a butterfly.
I'm a B-Maw kind of guy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Well, Pugmaw's the best, but if you have to
deviate, it's just the B.
Else.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's understandable.
I just think it's cute.
It is very cute. There are quite a few. I like the Undersea one as well. Skeleton Kog'Maw is pretty cool.
No, I'm just about the B.
You're just about the B?
Kind of like, eh.
There you go. I like to be a butterfly. It was also like the fun thing about the Monarch Kog'Maw was it was so low effort as well. They just took the base Kog'Maw skin and plonked wings on it. Oh, so good. I don't know whether that's the same now because he has gone through a little bit of a visual rework since you know, the very beginning of time where Kog'Maw started to exist.
Yeah, there's a lot of skins where I feel like the jank works for it.
Oh,
It makes it better.
Oh, are we talking about it again? Junkyard Trundle, the biggest sin that a champion rework has ever committed was removing his pink Converse shoe.
You okay, Atlas?
I was so sad about it. I was so incredibly sad about it.
Hey.
My favorite skin.
As I'm the glass half full kind of guy, right now, Nongshim didn't swap. Not behind in 3 lanes.
There you go. And they actually have some winning lanes as well as Zeri 13-6 ahead of the counterpick Kai'Sa that Nongshim went for here. Don't know whether that says that much about the Kai'Sa in the matchup.
Yeah, I do think that's one of those scenarios where we do have a couple of very...
Is Bulldog just dead? There's the flash. Oh, the minion almost took him down. Wasn't quite enough. He went down to about 10 health.
Yup.
And didn't expend flash.
Oh, Fisher, you see the giggle. That would have been a really big win there. And now instead he's just down a flash. Is of course still relatively safe. But does have to play a little bit more respectful as we might have a dive.
All right.
man, Nongshim. Oh, no, never mind.
Never mind. We had a considered dive, and that was exciting in unto itself. We didn't need any more excitement than that.
So this is nerfed Zyra's clear speed.
Yeah, and, she's still just happy feeding around the river.
Before the scuttle even spawns.
Yeah.
It's just, oh.
Okay. Bulldog with flash in hand, but may not have it for much longer as there's a Zenith Blade to connect. Great buffer, though, on the rocket jump. Maybe Bulldog should have just taken, like, Exhaust or Ignite or something instead. Like, I don't think he needs flash. Flash was unnecessary. It's Tristana.
Yeah, I trust Bulldog to hit his buffers.
Yeah, right?
Wonder if they could have played that differently. Like, Vital going for the E there is fine as long as you do have Sylvie actually at the ready to root him up. Wasn't the case? As oh, we're going back in.
Yep. Fisher is going to get knocked off. Andil, that was gorgeous! And they'll take first blood. Bulldog still not investing anything outside of his teleport to get himself back to lane from before. Oh dear, Nongshim, I mean, it's better than the lane swap scenario, but it ain't much better.
That's a really big punish for the mistake from Fisher. If you go for that flash, you need to actually get the kill. Again, like 10 health that he went down to wasn't enough. And then you're down a flash. If you have flash, you can outplay that scenario. Vital's there, maybe you can win the 2v2, but instead, kill goes over to Bulldog as well. So really a worst case scenario there. It isn't even like Andil pays for the roam because Vital wasn't able to make an impact mid, nor did he play towards the bottom of the map to keep Leaper on the back foot.
Yeah.
We have a little proxy here going on for Mia, which again, this is how the matchup is supposed to go. This is all very much according to plan, so nothing too crazy in that regard.
Yep, he's going to go back home now. Has a 10 CS advantage, can teleport if he would like to, but probably doesn't need to because he cleared out that wave before he got to the turret.
Yeah, that's actually, the minions actually cancelled Dudu's back. As we're taking a look at it, it's very straightforward. He doesn't have flash. Really nicely done, as you point out, by Andil. Also using the heal to ensure that they do actually get on him, on top of him in time. I mean, Dudu was also always gonna TP, but might open up a possibility for a proxy here again for Miha.
Yeah, I think Jiwoo saw that Cuz was coming over, but he's still just gonna flash in with the twisted advance. Bramble Smash comes down. Andil going to be able to help lock down the kill for Leaper. He takes a lot of damage from that turret shot, but that is still 2-0 here for the Kwangdong Freaks. And it's feeling like they're having a bit of a renaissance, at least in this series against Nongshim. It's looking like there is definitely a clear better team on the Rift today.
Really is. Andil provides the setup, and it's Cuz getting the better end of the bot lane for Nongshim there. Chiu, even with double summoners invested, ends up going down. And again, like in last game, Dudu is just fine.
Yeah.
He's not diveable whatsoever. There's still level 6 Xante. So all that Nongshim will get for their bot side troubles is free grubs, which again, Dragon for grubs is a trait, that's fine. Completely fine here for Kwangdong, so they're not going to be too bothered. I'll get a crab, I guess, that's something.
Yeah.
But Zeri got a kill, so it's not a great trade, Atlas.
I would say that it's a trade down, yes, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Looking at the money,
yes.
Based on just the failed lane swap in game 1, it was about 800 gold.
Oh, this is
still better.
No, it is.
And it's still really bad. So that's just mainly context on how poorly the lane swap went in game 1 more than anything else. Thankfully, the levels are still there for everyone. Don't have any of these massive disadvantages outside of Jiwoo not quite hitting level 6, but there it is right now. And of course, our supports are level 4 because they've been all over the map at this point in time. So Fisher in his spaceship is getting zoned out of the way of a whole bunch of farm here. Bulldog really putting the screws in. And when Bulldog does have a lead, especially on Tristana, he really does like to play very far forward. And that is continuing to happen. Sylvie not really offering too much and can't really. Does farm a lot, as we can see here. 66 to 48, almost ahead of his top laner and well ahead of his mid laner when it comes to farm. Just some Zyra things here. Is Vital going to get knocked up? Oh dear, there's an ulti out of Leaper. He thinks that it's time as Jiwoo wants to try and protect his support. As, all right, he's going back in. Good stun onto Andil. And there is the last auto. That's going to get the first kill over to Nongshim. As now Kwangdong Freaks are going to turn Mihail into a handbag. And there is the turret to help out. Cuz is going to grab the kill. That is now 4-1 for Kwangdong Freaks.
Oh, Cuz, his impact on the map dwarfs that of Sylvie. I think this is one of the issues with the Zyra. It can be quite tough to know how to play and where to make your impact, but you need to. Like, one of the big advantages is that you have so much extra free time as Bulldog.
He's coming in. That is going to be the grasping roots connecting, but when you strangle thorns like that, you're going to get a flash, but you're not going to activate the plants, which is a bit sad. Still, Bulldog makes it out, does invest the flash to do so, but will keep himself alive.
Yeah, imagine there wasn't a world there where if he does actually get the plant damage, I don't think he kills Bulldog, especially because the flash was still available. Ondo was in the general vicinity as well. So I like the attempted turn here in the 2v2. I wonder if Vital really had to go in. And I guess he did. I think like maybe with just the Ignite, Gyu still has ultimate at this point as well, as we do take a look at this extended play. I guess maybe he got a... No, didn't even get the summoner. That would have been quite big if he did. And then here, it's the... Yeah, it's the please, I need this.
I need this plate.
Yeah, and then immediately the punish comes through there. And I gotta say, Mihal, it's understandable given how last game played out, how you want to push your lead on the Renection. But this is again one of those things I was talking about earlier. This is the classic type of rookie mistake, because if the bot lane is complete Armageddon and Cuz doesn't show up, most likely it's going to be towards the top side of the map. So pushing that aggressively for a plate into a Cassandra with as much CC as he does is a risk you probably just don't want to take. And it's a risk he took, paid for it quite heavily.
Yeah. And now at 10 minutes, about 1,000 gold, the difference between the two teams, but
It's,
not really too
you know,
much to worry about.
Better than before.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Sylvie is really tearing apart the jungle. And so he's making a lot of money, hasn't had a lot of impact with it just yet. All right, Andal, just spotting what's going on here. Bulldog not going to be overextending. Everything is going to be all right. As Grub's going to be spawning now as well. So Sylvie in position, denying Tristana Grubs. Pretty good idea, is what I'm going to say.
And if they can get 6, you know, they have good pushers.
Oh,
Jiwoo.
Okay, fighting Dudu now. Doesn't mind the Void Seeker.
W would have been big, because that would have gotten the passive proc on Dudu. Not going to be the case. Might have a 5v5 on our hands here. So for Nongshim.
All right, there's the Nature's Grasp. Sylvie and Fisher need to be a little careful, but they're a little bit out of range here. You can see Rocket actually connecting for some good damage out of this Corki, because gets full positional advantage. Sylvie going to have to walk on over through a lot of bad guys. His first grub is going to be taken here by the Kwandong Freaks. Ulti through from Leaper as Vital finds the backline, but he's also going to find his death, but not before Leaper goes down, surely, as he does get taken out. Cuz now looking to take care of Jiwoo as he takes the Blast Cone with him. Vital now at about 100 health, so he's not going to be able to save Jiwoo, who's going to be the first one to go down in the second half of this fight as Dudu looks for the Q, doesn't get there. That is going to be 4 grubs, though, locked down by Nongshim. That's certainly a decent move. As Kwandong Freaks Mihail slice and dice and acting all cool, but he's still going to explode. Not outside of the school. That part of the quote does not quite work out, but still, that is going to be another one over to Kwandong Freaks. And all right, Grasping Roots connecting here, and Bulldog, you did not need to die. As, oh, yeah, okay, there it is. Sylvie able to lock that one up with a Q. Very nicely done. And Bulldog dying there, actually kind of a big deal, giving a bit of extra money over to Sylvie.
It makes it go from an atrocious trade to just kind of bad. That's a win in my book, Atlas.
Yeah.
It's still 1.5k gold deficit, but they did get 4 grubs. So they do hit the base level of Void Mites. So it's not ideal. They also, really everyone invested a whole lot of summoners throughout the play as well. I don't think that there'll be an opportunity for Nongshim to contest this dragon, but it's just the second dragon, and maybe, just maybe, we get Swift Rift coming right up.
Oh, I really
Come
hope
on.
so.
Come on.
Okay, Chemtech down. And we got Swift Rift! We did it! Oh my god. You guys didn't see it, but we high-fived because we were so happy that we got Drift Rift into Swift Rift. This is like, what a time to be alive. Oh my god. Oh, okay, let's have a look at this replay.
So it starts off with Cuz using a big ultimate, and a lot of poke damage comes down onto Vital, onto the backline of Nongshim, but that alone is not enough to dissuade them. And then here, things get messy pretty quickly. Leaper goes in aggressively, and they get a lot of damage onto Vital, so it doesn't matter that much. Then crucially, Cuz gets the W onto Jiu, which means that he actually follows him. If that doesn't happen, I actually think the rest of Nongshim can push deeper because Jiu has more threat, and maybe they're able to turn it around. Instead, that isn't the case. I think Meow, at this point, you know, like good sidestep, actually gets the E off there as well. Really, really nicely done. Waits till the last second till Cuz is on top of him, so he gets the double E, but he did get hit. And then this is actually a big deal. As you're saying, like, they don't know about the ward, and then Vital is like, oh, a bit of a bait, but then here Sylvie, crucially, does get the damage down onto Bulldog, and even I think Fisher would definitely have gotten the kill. And anyway, with the cooldown on that W, so it's now about 1K. I gotta say, Nongshim, it's something. Atlas, I'm just happy we had a bit of a game. I still think Kwangdong heavily favored. They have a really good team fight comp. They have Rakan, Maokai, and Cassante, which is like about as good as it gets in terms of front line. But
and it's the Dusante as well. It's not even
Dusante. Cuz also going for a build that I have strong emotions about. Which he's going. So he went Locket, which that's great.
And then Leandries, baby.
Yeah, I'm not. He is fed, so he has a bit more leeway with what he does, but still.
And no one does magic damage, so he's kind of the only one in charge of that.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not the worst, but it's not great. It doesn't make you feel like he's going to be very tanky. As there's a knock-up onto Vital. Nothing much else going to come of it. As Bulldog doing the Tristana thing, guys. He is in a side lane. He is hitting turrets. And Cuz is there to protect him as well. Mihail, I think, knows that there is a high likelihood of trees in the vicinity.
He's learned.
Yeah, but that just means that they take down the turret. That is going to be first turret blood going over to a Tristana, gets all of that local gold. And yeah, down 10 CS, but that doesn't matter. Took down the turret, and now Bulldog is going to be able to augment the build ever further. Does go for the Merc Treads, and he's got a Zeal now, so just feeling better and better as this game goes on.
Yeah, Mercs into Leon are always going to feel really, really good, and really a lot of Nongshim's successful fights, I think, are reliant on getting a CC chain down into someone and then blowing them up between Vital, Sylvie, and Miel. Obviously, a lot of setup there. Diminishing the impact of that is always going to be a great thing, and it's kind of hard to lock a target down reliably. When you look at Kwangdong as Mihail wanted to just weather the storm in the brush.
Yeah, I just wanted to stand there and just hope that the Tristana loses interest and goes away, or face checks in melee range, which would have also been nice. Control ward invested though there from Bulldog, and that is going to mean that Mihail is going to be a little bit worse for wear. Battle Dance from Andil gets him out of the way. As now Cuz, he presses the button and he will send himself in. That's a decent Stranglethorns, but the knock-up is only on to Cuz this time. Flash forward to try and lock down Sylvie's. Jiwoo is going to see to this one as well. Vital going down very low. He'll be taken out. A grand entrance is gorgeous onto Sylvie, who does get into the brush. It's a little bit frustrating. He's going down low. Indeed, the Swift Rip paying off. As now Jiwoo may have overextended his, does have to flash as the Void Seeker comes out. And it is, I believe, a pretty even trade in the end.
Oh, you can sense how badly Nongshim want to kill there, but Kwangdong just outplayed him. Flash is invested. Attempted kills all swept by the wayside, and instead it's just a cooldown fest on either side. A lot of flashes being invested, but...
Oh, and that means a Swifty Drake is likely to be picked up here by Kwangdong Freaks as a result. Let's check out the replay.
So we take another look. A lot of damage again going down into Vital. The ultimate from Sylvia doesn't really get that much out of it, outside of the flash from Cousin. And here, Vital goes back in, which is definitely a bit optimistic, but I think he knows he's dead either. The problem is that there isn't any damage follow-up. Then here, Dudu doesn't actually get to close the gap towards Sylvie. Gio is doing a lot of autoing here across from the wall. And then here, if that's a little bit better synergized between Meow and the rest of the team, they might kill Leaper there. That would have been big, getting a kill on that Zeri, or at the very least force a flash.
Yeah.
Gonna be the case. And now, a lot of flashes down. Do note, Leaper still is available, as does Dudu, as we have another fight. I understand, Nongshim, they don't want to give this dragon. They might have to.
Yeah, Cuz moving over, Dudu looking to try and find Leaper here, Fisher here, and they will be able to pick it up. That's another ulti from Cuz and another kill. This one going over to Leaper this time around. I mean, this Maokai is kind of just straight up working. I think Cuz having a fantastic day so far, be it on a kitty cat or on a tree.
Yeah.
He's feeling pretty good, as that is going to be soul point going over to Kwangdong Freaks. Dudu looking to try and take down an outer turret in the bottom lane. Mihail has to deal with some, you know, just cleaning up on the top side. And Nongshim just slowly but surely falling even further behind.
You really see Fisher, I think, struggling today. We have seen Calyx come in a little bit. And previously, I think Fisher's Corki has looked perfectly adequate, but really feels like a bit of a sore point this time around. Not able to have the impact that ideally we'd like to see for this Corki. And like falling behind in the 1v1 is one thing, but getting caught there, like that was not an unwinnable scenario. As we do have a lot of people on the way here. Try and deal with Bulldog. Ando's on his way as well. Can they get the wave in?
He's going to have to do some buffering, ladies and gentlemen, if he wants to get out of this one. Or he just hopes they go away. And guess what? They went away.
Yeah, just fired a buster shot at the Crocodile.
Well, now he's going in as Mihail is in so much trouble. There's the grand entrance, and Mihail is dead, guys. There is going to be a Ravenous Hunter. Is okay, Bulldog able to get himself out, but that is not going to be handled with such luck. So Nongshim, oh man, all right, the handbag bait coming through and coming up clutch. Really nicely done. And Nongshim going to try and take down this Rift Herald, which is actually going to get a charge. I thought it was going to look like a little bit of a sad Shelly moment, but not actually in the end, and they will be able to take down the outer turret in mid lane. Sylvie might be able to at least steal a blue in exchange, and I think Kwangdong Freaks have been a little bit better at least attending all of the waves that are crashing in, because Dudu collects that wave top, and Bulldog gonna be a little bit upset, but picks up his quick blades, and I think he's still gonna be fine.
I would say a lot better. I think you can give Kwangdong definitely the credit there, Atlas.
Yeah.
As they have been a lot more diligent. As we're taking a look at this, you don't need to get the... It's not old Corki. You need to be safe. You need to be behind your team, because if you're a little bit further back, Sylvie's ult in that choke point, complete deterrent as... Oh,
Andil is just always there, man! He is always there, ready to catch out the Croc. Gorgeously played. So glad that we're seeing Andil back and having performances like this. Really glad he takes care of himself as well, of course, but we did miss him when he was gone. Quantum, no shade, but he's not Andil.
It's a solo lane shocker this time around for Nongshim.
Yeah.
Both solo lanes really struggling. And in case of Miao, those side lane deaths don't even provide any value. Like, ideally, it's not the end of the world. It's on ill.
Yeah, he was trying to do some sneaky stuff yet again. This time, he's going to get punished for it. Bit of a caster curse, I apologize. Maybe that's on me. Not sure how he got there so incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I imagine he just ran.
Yeah.
Just ran from bot towards mid, and then was trying to look for a jungle ward. As we're taking out a look here, oh yeah. Oh, Meow. Can't be that far up. That's very straightforward. Even in the 1v1, I think Bulldog obviously poses a great threat and would have gotten the kill. I think realistically, with the flash especially, he's still available and no flash on Meow. And then, yeah.
He was just clearing the ward.
It was clearing the ward and then walking up, trying to get some extra vision.
Yeah.
These kills matter, because they do mean that unlike the previous game, yes, there's a bounty, which Fisher will pick up one of right now. But I do think that this is one of the souls, as good as it is, where you could theoretically still win if you get a really good fight. I think the main thing is that you're just going to get pulled around the map, which has been the case. But at least GU has some money. And guys, I know I'm really
huffing,
kind of reaching here.
Well, yeah.
No, but I was really coming into the day ready for 6 games, Atlas, and it was dumb of me because I should have trusted Breon clearly.
Yeah, that was a bit silly, but it could have been 5. It could have been 5. You're right. This one could have gone the distance. Still could. You know, it's not an insurmountable lead or anything like that.
I trust Kwangdong. I think that the games where they've looked bad, in this split at least, are more so where it never looks like it comes together at all. I feel like last year was a lot of, we get a lead and now what?
Yeah, the vibe check definitely way better in this game.
And we all know why.
Yeah.
It's because they have Cuz.
Yeah.
You know, I need to...
This guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he really is. Oh.
I would say that Dudu is pretty good too.
I think Dudu is also back awake. You know, I think Dudu, he took a bit of a slumber. It happens to the best player when they're on a team that just
I mean, there was some Cuz hibernation as well.
Yeah.
As he's not hibernating now. He is twistedly advancing forward and just dead. Vital is possibly going to... Okay, never mind. Jiwoo gets into the backline. Bulldog just explodes. Andal in trouble, but he's now able to grand exit. And Leaper, it's on you, brother. As Nongshim have everyone alive. They don't have a lot of health bars, but they've got a pretty healthy Renekton.
Should be Drake. I don't know if you... Oh, God. They're just going to Nash.
Are we?
Ooh, that's dicey.
That is definitely very dangerous. Is all right. Vital does have that Eclipse back up again.
They do have Kai'Sa as well as Zyra.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They are going to get a Baron.
Did I do that?
You might have just discovered that you are way too powerful, Chronicler.
Well, they get Soul, so...
Baron for Cloud Soul. The swiftest soul on the Rift. I'd say not worth if you're Nongshim, but that's fine.
Well, so what you shouldn't do into Zyra is over-chase into the ultimate, because now you get two super segmented fights where they just blow up your Liandry's Maokai.
Yeah.
And then Jiwoo just, it's very messy, so Jiwoo has a really easy time to then clear up the fight. And then here, as soon as the Leaper, it's clear that Leaper isn't actually able to get on top of the backline, there's not really a whole lot they're going to be able to do. Cloud Soul was taken, as mentioned, and it is a really good soul, I think, for Maokai and for Deseri and Rakan in particular. So it is still a lot of value. Yeah. But at the very least, Nongshim, they're clinging on. And Kwangdong, I just finished my thing about how you were so much more consistent. It's a little scary, Atlas.
Yeah, maybe it was a little premature. It's okay. Sometimes you just need to test your limits as a caster cursing Chronicle. You know, I think that's a fine.
Curses aren't real, Atlas. It's not a thing
until they are.
No, it's just confirmation bias.
Ah.
So often we praise players and nothing happens.
That's true. That's true. But also, so many times we're praising them and then they just go in and die. That has happened also. As Bulldog,
it has.
He's still going. Jonas Strong's like, wait, you're really going to chase this far? Nongshim are taking an inner turret. Vital is possibly dead. Blast Cone's back. Not exactly optimal, but Jiwoo can get over here with the Killer Instinct, but he's the only one that's going to have that level of mobility. Cuz looking to stop some backs here. Does get a smite off as Jiwoo still in the brush. Cuz is just dead though, guys. As Mihail is fighting Bulldog in melee range, that is certainly good for him. Leaper's going to be grabbing a kill. Oh dear, the Yakety Sacks are going to need to go, and Leaper, oh my goodness. That's some kills for the Zeri. 5-1 and 3 now, and where are the Barons? Where are the Barons? Sylvie has one, Mihail, he has one.
Probably just wanted to either commit to the push there or get into the brush and let Vital die. Nongshim were a little bit split on the calls, so we got a bunch of recalls.
Yeah.
So I understand that you're overextended here, but you still have Baron buff, and you're quite strong, so I think you could have just tried to play it as Bulldog.
All right, Bulldog, what? Oh, okay, he just gets the shield. He's just fine. Don't even worry about it. Just soaks all of the damage from the Zyra and says, no, but I got my mates coming. Okay. Okay, Chronicler.
Take it away, Chronicler. I don't know, man. This is a tough one, Atlas. There's a bit too much happening. Vital, yeah, just
wander there.
Keep fighting. Just E. Don't think. Just keep going. By the end of it, it's a great trade for Kwangdong because they got rid of the Baron buff without losing the inhib, which was the worst case scenario. So they realized Vital was dead, which is true. But then this is the worst case, because if Sylvie's there, you can win that. Like, that's playable.
Yeah, and Andal goes in, and then he's out again, and then Vital eventually falls down.
Look at the speed, Atlas.
I know. He really goes all out, and if he wants to, he can then go all out of the camera if he wants to. It's a lot of distance to be covered. As Bulldog, yeah, he's pretty good at rocket jumping towards Mihail. We did see him inside a brush in melee range with a Renekton. Got all the way through the Steric shield and didn't really care too much about it. First shot is going to work out. Look at that Cloud Soul value. Wait.
No, he didn't kill him. That's the funny part.
Huh.
Yeah.
That was a mystery to me. That was why he was still alive at the end of the play.
Yeah, if he goes back in again and Renekton gets another W kill,
yeah,
you just die.
Yeah, can't soak that one. Didn't have a control ward. Well, there you go.
The more
I
you
just
know.
really wanted to advertise the Cloud Soul value, and then it wasn't very valuable at all, as it turns out.
Cloud Soul is always valuable, Atlas.
I mean, it is, but I wanted an
movement speed.
example of it.
So, that said,
Uh-huh.
still, I think Kwangdong are heavily favored. Dusante is reigning the map. I know Leaper, it doesn't feel like he's that far behind. It's just because both AD carries are ridiculously
They are kind of fed.
accelerated in terms of pace of the game, which is why they have so many items. Oh,
dear.
Bulldog.
He's going to walk past. A little bit
I think
dangerous.
there's no, I don't think they should. Yeah, that's a very good choice. It's like, look at the words like, oh, they don't know, right? They didn't.
Yeah.
It's okay. But, so Dusante's doing amazing. But there was one thing, and you and I both know what Challenger teams love. And I know they haven't been in Challenger for a while.
Oh, Spatula's at the ready?
Spatula's at the ready. Hope
Cuz
that
wins those, man. Like,
Well,
I feel like we've had a few moments
I
where
know.
there have been certain elders on the rift.
Yep. I know, I'm with you. I don't think it's a good strategy.
Oh, I
but
do. I think it's a good strategy. Because
for
it's not
Cuz
about
winning.
winning. It's about
No, it's
flipping.
no.
And what
They're
is,
athletes.
like, there's
It
nothing more
actually is about
fun than a barbecue with your buddies. You know, and do you know what you have to do there? You have to flip the burgers. And that's what they're going to do around this Baron.
What if you
sorry, around the Elder.
What if you have a barbecue without burgers?
Oh, then you probably still need a spatula for whatever else you're barbecuing, so it's fine. You're still going to be flipping things. It's just not burgers.
Doesn't feel as good.
Really?
Like flipping a chicken breast, I don't feel like it has the
What
same
about
ring to
flipping
it.
an eggplant?
Well, that sounds good, actually.
Yeah, right? I knew you'd be on board. You know, you're just like, you're roasting up
Do you
some,
call them,
some eggplants to put them in the baba
eggplants
ganoush.
or aubergines in Australia?
Eggplant is generally what we do.
Well,
you can do
let's
both.
see the
Cool.
flip.
All right, this one is the purple worm flip. Let's see how this one's going to go. First, it will be Cuz taking down the Rift Scuttler.
They're half health. One
The Baron's getting a lot of work done. Yeah.
Oh, Bulldog. No.
Wait, is he just going to go on solo Elder?
Yeah, he's trying. Oh, my God. They
God.
need to engage.
And Nongshim, they have no idea, and they're not being decisive enough to actually start this one off.
Oh, my God. Wait,
Oh,
Bulldog's not
no.
TP, though. But it doesn't matter. He's just going to get it.
Yeah, he's just going to get Elder, guys.
Final go.
Oh, they have to go in. They have to do it. He's not even losing health. Who even cares? Oh, the Nature's Grasp. And they're like, we don't know where Bulldog is. He could be anywhere. He could be even taking the Elder. And they're still going to go for the fight. The all-out onto the jungler. They take down Sylvie. Vital doing what he's always been doing so far this series, which is wandering around trying to buy space. And Kwangdong Freaks just went from being in a relatively close game to utterly crushing them. And the burn, and there goes the dragon. Oh man, that was gorgeous. All really sad, depending on which perspective you're observing this one from. But I tell you what, Kwangdong Freaks, they're like, if there's ever a day to argue how back they are being in a positive direction, this would be a good day to do it.
Man, imagine having to defend that point of view, Atlas, as Kwangdong take a decisive 2-0 here. Okay, so I was on the Dusante train, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Could I just give it to Bulldog for that call? I don't know if he was the one who made the call, but I kind of wanna.
I mean, I think that you're allowed to vote for whoever you would like. And Vital going to be given some fist bumps here. First time in quite some time. Wasn't a great day for Nongshim, unfortunately. But definitely a good one for the Kwangdong Freaks. They are looking so much more like the well-oiled machine that we saw earlier in the season. And obviously, it's up against Nongshim. They have certainly been going through some struggles. It's been a long time since we've seen them without Guga there as well to sort of add that level head. And I think that it was sort of noticeable in a lot of those decisions that they were making later on. Just wanted to get those young hands in there. And Nongshim, unfortunately, just not able to get it done. But good to see Kwangdong Freaks sort of back on the way towards the playoffs. And Cuz they're having a really good day. I know the build's still weird. He's quite greedy when it comes to what he likes to purchase on his champions. And Bulldog just having a real good time. Okay. He might be able to win a ceremony competition with that one.
And I want to remind everyone that with this, Kwangdong gonna go to 6-8 But in terms of game score, will overtake BNK. And KT with the loss is only 2 games and 1 series ahead of them, and all these teams still playing each other.
Yeah, I mean, if Kwangdong can just win their games next week, they are just in playoffs. That's just it. And that's sorted.
Man, the race for playoffs, I love it when the race for playoffs continues up until the very end. And I was worried, you know, Genji already locked in.
Yeah.
Hanwha Live, Genji, that's going to be the closer of the season. I'm sure that's going to be cool, but I want drama. And it could be a world where it's going to
Whoa!
the final series. Look at that. Look at that arm!
That's crazy. It's kind of disconnecting a little bit, but that was pretty dope. All right. Bulldog fans getting more and more creative as the seasons go on. Yep, Leaper having a pretty good one. I think it was a little bit quiet, but I think that's how you want a Zeri game to go.
He was fine. He picked up the last hits. He wasn't a liability.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Precisely. So going to bow to the Lol Park audience here. Huge turnout, honestly, for Nongshim versus Kwangdong Freaks. That is great to see. And who is going to get it? That is my question as far as the POG, as we've got a whole lot of CV Max photo cards. My goodness. That's a lot of CV Max. Yeah, my goodness. All right, well, Mihail, at the beginning of this game, having a very rough time. And honestly, this was like, do we miss Dun Dun territory in this series? I'm not going to lie, Chronicler. It's a bit of a rough one.
We have seen what a successful integration of a challenge player into the LCK looks like.
Yeah.
And the best scenarios have been players like Perfect, even taking into account the loss of today, right? If you look at him in the beginning of the year, Lucid's another wonderful example. Pace is the like, what if you had infinite money and you have like, you know, in a game where you have the god hack that you just can do whatever you want?
Yeah.
Another great example, you can even go back a further while back, right? What T1 did basically, where the players slowly got introduced.
Yeah, true.
And I think we're seeing with Nongshim in real time that even though a lot of these players obviously were in the LCK last year, there is such an insane gap of just basic stuff that consistently goes wrong for this team in game. And that is something that without an experienced player, or ideally multiple, you're just never going to be able to fix. And I think from that point of view, the Google experiment makes sense, but it just doesn't work. And for Kwangdong, you can see the power of those voices, right? Because it's transformed this team from a team that struggled so much to a team that is able to make calls like this.
Yep, Andal as well is looking like a pretty fantastic call-up at the same time. Unfortunate that he does have a few of these health issues, but when he's on form, my goodness, he just makes the right decisions. And you're right, like with Dudu and Cuz there as the solid rocks of the top side of the map, you can sort of see that without a foundation, Nongshim don't really have the same amount of a chance. And that was pretty cool. Cool guys don't look at explosions. Dudu is a cool guy. And Bulldog did a lot of damage. And honestly, like, this was some pretty vintage Bulldog. Tristana as well in this game. Just felt like him playing ultimately on the front foot over and over again. Just doing whatever he wanted to do.
I wonder who gets POG. I ended up going for Andal, actually. I think his engages were
He was also
beautiful.
everywhere.
All of the time.
And even like when he face-checked and died, that was just after he was on the other side of the map,
so it
getting a kill.
Out.
It was very, very cool. Speaking of very, very cool things and people, let's throw it over to the space, break down that series.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason for the POG interview translation, and we are here joined by Cuz and Andal on the side of Kwangdong Freaks after their 2-0 victory up against Nongshim Red Force. Congratulations! Kwangdong has broken their losing streak and secured their first win in round 2. How do we feel about ending the losing streak? I was definitely not expecting a 5-match losing streak, so we really wanted to, you know, get a win to stop this happening. And hopefully with this win, I hope that we can start off a great momentum and a winning streak. Yeah, there were a lot of games where we were supposed to win and then we just like gave it away. So I'm kind of glad and proud that we managed to kind of overcome those hard times and bounce back eventually. Yeah, I mean, the losing streak continued from the end of round 1 and lasted a little bit longer than we all expected. What did you discuss with your teammates to overcome this? I mean, I had a lot of conversation with Lipper, especially. I was whining a little too much, but he was also really good at listening to me and like making adjustments. So I'm really thankful for him, and also thanks to that, we managed to kind of refurbish our performance. Because in game 1, you picked Italy as soon as it was let through, you're undefeated champion. You have a 7-0 record with Italy, and Italy also is on a 7-game winning streak here in 14.14. What do you think is the greatest strength of Italy? Obviously, poke damage. If you start to land those spears, the enemy kind of starts to rush, because they don't want to lose any more health. So you can also capitalize on that. And then they even let through Bulldog's Tristana. How did they react to that? So because we were too focused on Italy being open, we were not aware of it in the first pick, and then after that we were like, wait, Tristana is also open. So we were expecting them to take it away, but somehow it was let through again, so we got it too. So I want to know about your lane swap. The lane swap strategy happened early on in game 1. How did you manage to deal with it from the opponents? So we were planning for an invade, but I think their level 1 was not that strong. So we just managed to kind of take that fight slowly and then turn it around. And there was one moment where Nidalee was able to pick up 3 back-to-back kills. You used that Zonias to kind of buy more time and then ended up picking 3 kills. I mean, we were very confident, especially I was confident to pick up more kills and pick many kills. We thought it would be an easier fight for us, but I somehow realized we already lost 2 of our teammates, but still, it was a decent angle for us, so I managed to get 3 kills. And Andil, today, Nongshim started Vital as their support. Since you might not have enough information on him, what did you focus on in preparing for the match? Just like you said, not too much information. So we rather wanted to focus on what we have to do instead of what the opponent support is good at or what kind of champion he plays. And you got your POG in game 2 with Rakan, maintaining and extending your winning streak on Rakan. Were you expecting a POG? To be honest, I was expecting a POG in game number 1, not game number 2. I think game 2, other players played better. Cause, do you agree with them? I also kind of wanted me to win POG, but I thought Bulldog also had a very impressive moments and kills, but I was a little bit surprised to find out Andil won the POG. During game 2, there was a time of crisis when you actually just gave away the Baron to the opponents. They kind of sneaked it away. So we were, talking about it a little bit, but our execution was not on point. But we still managed to keep our focus and turn the game around. Because later tonight, on Lonely Night, you will be joining the show together with Lipper, and I, Eunbin, will be the special MC of the night. Anything you want to say about it? It will be an amazing episode, especially Lipper. He's a very funny guy, so I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna like it. So everyone, make sure to tune in. It's gonna happen about 30 minutes after the stream ends. Until next week, Kwangdong Freaks goes up against KT and BNK Fear X. These are very important series for Kwangdong. What is your mindset going into next week? I mean, preparing a specific tactics up against our given opponents is important, but I think we should also focus on what we're good at and what we should do. So I hope we can continue our streak and momentum next week as well. Next week is going to be very important for us, and just like we did today, I hope we can come back with a stronger performance and also get rid of all the mistakes that we displayed in the matches. And that will be the end of the interview from Andil Cuz on the Kwangdong Freaks, and back to the space. Thank you.